The storm rolled in with a kind of fury Hart hadn't felt since she was a kid, wild, electric, and temperamental as a young bull. One minute the sky above Broken Spur Ranch was quietly overcast, the next it was a churning battlefield of black clouds. Thunder cracked hard enough to rattle the aluminum siding on the barns, and the first gusts of wind tore across the open fields like invisible stampedes. Ella had barely managed to get hold of Dusty's reins before the mare panicked. The horse's breathing had turned fast and uneven, her front left leg trembling with each step. Something had spooked her out in the pasture, and whatever it was, Dusty had bolted like she'd seen the devil himself. Now she limped badly, and Ella half-dragged, half-guided the mare toward the barn as the wind whipped their silhouettes in every direction. "Come on, girl, just a little further," Ella whispered, breath fogging from nerves more than cold. Dusty stumbled again, nearly falling to her knees. Ella threw her shoulder under the mare's head, steadying her with a grunt. The storm howled, pelting them with dirt and stray pieces of brittle grass. When they finally reached the barn entrance, a fierce gust slammed the doors shut behind them. Darkness wrapped around the interior, save for the occasional flash of lightning slicing through the cracks. Ella led Dusty into the nearest stall, whispering soft words, calming her, promising she'd be okay. But then it happened. As Ella stepped back to grab bandages from the wall cabinet, her legs suddenly jerked apart. Forcefully, unnaturally, like an invisible pair of hands were pulling them open. She gasped and reached out, catching the edge of Dusty's stall before she collapsed. What the? Her knees locked wide. Her muscles strained to bring her legs together, but they wouldn't budge. She tried again, harder. Nothing. It was as if the barn floor itself had hooked her boots in place. A deep vibration traveled up through her soles. Not the trembling of thunder, something alive and rhythmic. A pulse. Ella's heart flipped. Before she could call out again, heavy boots pounded across the aisle. Ella. Caleb Dunn rushed toward her, coat dripping from the rain, his hat barely staying on his head. The ranch hand stopped short, noticing her trapped stance. What the hell happened? Are you hurt? I don't know, she stammered. My legs. Caleb, I can't close them. Something's pulling. Caleb dropped beside her, hands instinctively reaching first for Dusty's hooves, checking if something had wrapped around the mare. But he froze instantly. It's not Dusty, he murmured. He crouched lower, brushing away loose straw with his gloved hand. Then again. His movements slowed, cautious. The rough wooden floor beneath the straw didn't feel like wood at all. His touch sank slightly, like pressing on packed earth softened by heat. Ella, he said quietly, stay still for a second. The seriousness in his tone sharpened her fear. What do you see? Caleb swallowed. The floors, moving. The barn felt suddenly too quiet. Even the storm outside seemed to hold its breath. Caleb brushed more straw aside, then reached deeper between the boards. His hand stopped. His shoulders stiffened. Slowly, he lifted something cupped in his palm. A faint green light pulsed within the shadows. Ella's breath caught. Caleb, what is? The glow brightened. Once. Twice. Then. It blinked. A single, oval-shaped eye, luminous, liquid, and impossibly alive, stared back at them. And the unseen force holding Ella's legs tightened. Ella's scream tangled in her throat but never made it out. She stared as the single glowing eye beneath the floor blinked again, slow, deliberate, aware. Caleb's hand trembled, the faint green light reflecting off his rain-soaked jacket as he backed away, careful not to startle whatever was below. Then the barn floor gave a soft groan. A line cracked through the boards, splintering wider, pushing up from beneath like something was rising, something with purpose. Ella staggered back as the floor bulged, boards lifting as if lifted by an unseen tide. "Caleb," she gasped. "I see it," he whispered, though his voice hardly sounded like his own. A wet, fibrous sound, like roots being pulled from deep mud, filled the barn. The floorboards parted, and from the widening seam a creature emerged. It was no bigger than a calf but unlike anything from this world. Its skin was translucent, shimmering with moving patterns of deep greens and soft blues, like drifting lights in deep water. Faint tendrils curled from its sides, each glowing in gentle pulses. One of those tendrils was wrapped around Ella's boot, holding her legs apart. Not violently, not painfully, but firmly, like a vine protecting something delicate beneath her. Ella felt the pressure shift. It's not trying to hurt me," she whispered. "It's confused." The creature let out a low, resonant hum. The sound rippled through the air, warm, strange, soothing. Dusty, who moments earlier had been sweating and panicked, stopped trembling entirely. She stretched her neck out toward the creature, calm in a way Ella had never seen during a storm. Outside, the thunder softened, as though even the sky was listening. The creature lifted its main body higher, revealing more of its glowing tendrils, flexible, luminous, moving with thoughtful precision. One extended toward Caleb. He tightened his grip on the rope he held, not in aggression, but in defense. He didn't know what this thing was, but he knew its intentions mattered more than its appearance. "Easy," Caleb murmured, voice steadying as the tendril reached him. The glowing appendage touched the leather of his glove. Instantly, a surge of images flooded both their minds, flashes not seen with eyes but felt with something deeper. Ella gasped as the visions washed through her. Collapsing tunnels. A nest of small, glowing creatures huddled in darkness. Falling earth. Crushing weight. A desperate push toward the surface. A search for safety. A need for help. Ella's knees weakened. The creature's hum deepened, as if trying to communicate more, but uncertain how. Caleb exhaled shakily. "It's scared," he said, his voice softer than she'd ever heard it. "It wasn't trying to stop you. It was trying to get your attention." Ella's pulse thundered in her ears, not from fear now, something else. Something protective. The tendril gently loosened around her boot, unwrapping with a slow, cautious motion. Ella wiggled her toes, then brought her legs together, though she didn't move away. The creature watched them both with that single, glowing eye, curious, exhausted, hopeful. "What do we do?" Caleb asked, eyes locked on the creature. Ella stepped forward, heart pounding. She extended her hand. Not too fast, not too close, and whispered, "We help it." The creature's patterns brightened at her voice, glowing like dawn through fog. Lightning flashed again, illuminating the barn. Rain hammered the roof, steady and fierce. But inside, a fragile stillness settled between the ranchers and the being that had clawed its way into their world. Broken Spur Ranch had always been ordinary. Predictable. Human. Not anymore. Because whatever lived beneath their barn wasn't just alive. It was intelligent. And now, it was looking to them for survival.